details do matter. Every step, every hand on the ground, every route, everything that we do has a purpose. We are really focused, and our attention to detail is going to be unmatched.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rag Radio Extra Podcast as we preview the 2025 College World Series. I'm Jeff Palermo, News and Sports Director of the Louisiana Radio Network, along with the Executive Editor for Rag Magazine, Todd Horne, and the Editor, Glen Guilbeau. And a fun time of the year, guys, as LSU tries to win an 8th national championship.
8 is great. That's what I'm going with.
Glenn?
I can't wait to get there, man. I just hope I can get my new real Louisiana ID done in time to make it. I feel like I'm being interviewed for a job with the CIA.
Hey, speaking of that, Ben McDonald, who was on our show the other night, Rag Radio the other night, and gave such an excellent analytical breakdown of this, especially the LSU Arkansas game, he had total trouble getting there. He actually missed it, flew halfway to Houston, turned around, had to fly out of New Orleans first thing this morning, then got stuck in Atlanta. He was supposed to be there this morning to start working.
Well, I'll be there Saturday, man, with bells on. Can't wait.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. LSU Arkansas on Saturday night. Everyone's looking forward to that game. Everyone is looking at LSU and Arkansas as the two teams to beat. But my first question for you guys, outside of Arkansas, who's the biggest threat to LSU? Who should LSU fans be also keeping an eye on?
Well, Coastal Carolina in the other bracket. I think they're a great team. They're out of the Sun Belt. They're number 2 in the nation in ERA with a 3.21. They got a right-hander, Jacob Morrison, who's 11-0, 2.15 ERA. Another right-hander, Cameron Flukie, 7-1, 3.34 ERA. And yet another right-hander, Riley Eichhoff, who's below 3 in ERA as well at 6-2. They're not a power-hitting team, but they're a tough team. They've got the most wins in the field. I would look out for Coastal Carolina.
I'm going to go Arizona also in the other bracket. And the reason I'm taking Arizona is not because of any statistical thing that really stands out. I just think they're playing hot ball right now. I think hot matters. You've got to be on a run, and they haven't won 25 in a row like Coastal Carolina has, which I actually think is a detriment to Coastal Carolina, being on such a big win streak coming into the World Series. I think Arizona came back from an 18-2 loss at North Carolina, who was arguably the number 1 team in the country, at Chapel Hill to win the last 2. I think they're rolling.
I like Oregon State. Nobody's talking about them. They go 47-14-1. They get on base a ton. They also have 3 terrific players that I think a lot of people are going to be talking about, and you're going to know them by the end of this tournament. Iva Arquette, Gavin Turley, and then they got a freshman pitcher in Dax Whitney who's really outstanding. And this is a team that started off slow in the NCAA tournament, but they have gotten hot. And again, just because they're not affiliated with a conference doesn't mean they can't win this thing. Looking ahead to our next question, guys. Offensive performance. 6 runs has been the magic number for LSU. When they score 6 runs or more, they win a bunch of their games, right, Todd? Pretty much all of them.
They're 41-1, LSU is, when they score 6 runs or more, and they are 7-14 when they score less than 6 runs.
So the question is, can they average 6 runs a game in this College World Series?
I think they will. I think they're starting to hit the ball. They're getting hot. And they got out of SEC play. Now they're going back into SEC play. But I still think they're going to be pretty hot and score those runs. I think you're going to see Jared Jones, who started to turn it on in the regional, do well. Stephen Milam, Josh Pearson. Luis Hernandez has had some good postseason. Of course, Derek Curiel. I think they're going to be over that 5 or 6 run. Maybe not in every game. Maybe not in the first game. But I think overall they're going to score 6 runs in most or more in most of their games.
So you think for the College World Series, when it's all said and done, they're going to have averaged 6 runs or more?
Yes. And remember, they 10-run ruled Arkansas in the regular season.
So I don't think they're going to be able to average 6 runs at against Arkansas or at Omaha, because they just simply have not hit well with runners in scoring position all season long when on the road or at a neutral site. So I think that continues, but that doesn't mean I don't think LSU can still be successful in Omaha.
I do not see them averaging 6 runs a game. Go back to even 2023. Granted, a stronger field. They only scored 6 runs or more twice during their run through their 7th national championship. That was the first game, the 6-3 win against Tennessee. And then, of course, they blew out Florida in the final game. But I still go back to what I've seen from this team since the start of SEC play. They're just a different team at the plate away from the box. They're a team that just struggles to score more than 4 runs a game. So I think 5 is a better number for them, but I don't see them getting to averaging 6 during the course of this College World Series. Let's talk about pitching and what we might see from the LSU Tigers. We'll start with you, Todd.
Well, I think they're solid pitching right now. I think they have the best 1-2 punch, obviously, in the country with Cade Anderson and Anthony Eisen. Anderson's currently number 2 in strikeouts in the country. Eisen is number 3. However, I think neither one of those guys, Anderson or Eisen, are happy with their most recent performances, obviously struggling relative to what they put in to the rest of the season I think that's going to result in a pissed off Cade Anderson in this first game, and I think that's going to work to LSU's advantage. And because I think that's going to work to LSU's advantage, I think LSU is going to beat Arkansas in the first game because of that, and LSU is going to then consequently be set up pitching-wise for the rest of the tournament.
I think LSU is going to have to show this pitching depth we've heard all year about. You know, they may have to play Arkansas 3 times and to win the first bracket. So, you know, Chase Shores, Cooper Williams, Maverick Rizzi, you name it, one of those guys or 2 of those guys are going to have to show themselves at some point in middle relief or short relief to extend LSU's pitching staff and play. You know, Jay Johnson's played 8 games twice when he's been in Omaha. They may have to do that to win it all this year.
Yeah, Eisen and Anderson obviously have been so consistent for this team, and Casey Evans has been really good, and Zach Cowan has been good for most of the season. I think especially as this tournament goes along, some of the other guys, some of the role position, or I guess the role players out of the bullpen for LSU, can they limit the walks? Can they stay away from that type of game that we saw when LSU lost to Little Rock? Cooper Williams has got to throw strikes. DJ Primo's got to throw strikes. Jaden Newt, Maverick Rizzi, Jacob Myers. You know they're going to rely on a guy like Jacob Myers somewhere in this College World Series. Can he go out there and throw strikes? It'll be interesting to see how the ballpark plays. If it's not hitting friendly, then these guys need to be attacking the strike zone. That brings us to our final question for this part of the podcast, and that is the X factors in this College World Series for LSU. We'll start with you, Glenn.
I think the X factor is going to be Mr. Everything pitcher, Casey Evans. He can start, he can short relief, he can middle relief, he can long relief. I think Casey, somewhere along the line, he may have to start a game like he did against Little Rock in that elimination game to stop LSU from getting eliminated. He's been one of the best freshmen in the country. I think he's a starter, and he would have probably been starting all year if Gavin Guidry hadn't gotten hurt. So I think you're going to see Casey Evans really rise to the occasion as a starter and as a closer and in other relief roles throughout this World Series.
I'm going to go with Stephen Monster Milam. He has to be a monster in this College World Series, just like he was during the regional and super regional in Baton Rouge. He cannot play in the shadows like he did most of this season. He's gotten hot. He needs to stay hot. His batting average has risen to 290. He had significant hits at key times, including the grand slam, including the doubles that just drove in runs when LSU really needed them. He's the X factor for LSU, in my opinion, in Omaha.
I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to go Josh Pearson. He's been Mr. Clutch for LSU during his career. He's going to come into a big situation, whether it's pinch hitting or, heck, we might see him leading off again on Saturday night. Could he get LSU off to a good start, hit a double or something? He's been that kind of guy. Go back to the 2023 College World Series championship, makes the huge catch before the walk-off home run by Tommy White. So he's been the money guy for LSU, and he needs to be that here during the College World Series. And the other guy I'll go with is Zach Cowan. He was so good for much of the season. Just like what you were saying, Glenn, about Case and Evans, Cowan will be counted on at a particular time to get 6 to 9 outs for you at a very important part of the game. And can he do it without giving up many runs? He'll be called on in a huge situation sometime during this period in Omaha.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV.
Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
Welcome back to the Tiger Rag Radio Extra Podcast, our 2025 preview of the College World Series. Back here with myself, Jeff Palermo, Glenn Guilbeau, and Todd Horne. We had an opportunity to talk with some of the baseball media experts that have been on our show during the course of the season, and they gave us their predictions for how Saturday night will go between LSU and Arkansas and who will win the College World Series. Talking with Hunt Palmer from ESPN 104.5 and 104.9. Hunt, what's your prediction for Saturday night? LSU and Arkansas, who wins and why?
I think it's the two most talented teams in the College World Series. I think it'll be the two biggest fan bases at the College World Series. I think it's two of the best pitchers of the College World Series. I trust Arkansas's offense just a little bit more, unfortunately. So I'm going to go with the Hogs. Either way, I think the winner has a great chance to win the College World Series.
So based on that answer, do you see Arkansas winning the College World Series, or could LSU bounce back, or some other team that you have your eye on as far as winning it all?
Either team, LSU or Arkansas, could bounce back after a loss on Saturday. They're deep enough and talented enough to do it. But I do think this Arkansas team feels like Dave Van Horn's team. This is his 8th trip up there. He's got a really, really good offense and a ton of talented arms. They haven't gotten it done yet. I have a feeling this might be the year.
Jacob Rudner with Baseball America. Let's first of all look at Saturday night's big game between LSU and Arkansas. Who wins and why?
It's my favorite matchup of the bracket. I've gone back and forth on it all week. I go with Arkansas, and I just only do so because I love the way that they're playing baseball right now on both sides of the ball. I think that offense has a chance to be really successful, even in the big park like Schwab. They don't necessarily need to hit home runs, and then the pitching has been very good. I really like how Zach Root looks, and as competitive as I think this game will be, Arkansas is my pick.
And then who wins the College World Series and why?
Well, I'm going with the Razorbacks, and I'll tell you, I think the winner of this game, regardless of whether or not my prediction for it is correct, goes on to win the national title. I really like both of these teams. I think Jay Johnson's done a masterful job of putting together a roster, especially with the pitchers that he has right now. Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson, for me, are the best 1-2 punch in college baseball at the moment. And so I think that, they have a really good chance. But like I said, Arkansas's balance on both sides of the ball has me very encouraged that this could be the year for the Razorbacks.
Talking with Glen West from 247 Sports. And Glenn, first of all, who do you like between LSU and Arkansas on Saturday night and why?
I like the Tigers. This is just my humble opinion, but I think you can probably expect Cade Anderson to be on the mound. And anytime Cade Anderson or Anthony Ianson, for that matter, are on the mound, you got to like LSU's chances to win the game. I expect Anderson to go out there and have a great performance, and might take a little bit of time to get after Zach Root and that Arkansas pitching staff, but the offense does just enough to get the Tigers the game 1 win.
And then who do you like winning the whole thing and why?
Well, it sets you up beautifully there if you're LSU to win that first game, and so if they're able to get in that driver's seat and win the first game, I like LSU to win the whole thing. I really think they have one of the more complete rosters that's left in this tournament, and it's going to really come down to a couple different things for me. I think it's going to come down to those pitchers outside of Anderson, Ianson, and Case and Evans throwing strikes and not giving opposing teams free passes. And then on the offensive end, it's going to be about crushing mistakes. We saw this team against West Virginia this last weekend when they were given the free passes, when they were given those scoring opportunities, they were able to capitalize on them. That hasn't always been the case with this group over the last couple months, but you hope that West Virginia series and some of the momentum that they've been able to build really throughout the entirety of the postseason can kind of lead this team and be what puts them over the top. So I'll go LSU.
All right. Talking with WAFB-TV sports director Jacques Doucet. Jacques, big game Saturday night, LSU and Arkansas. Who wins and why?
I hope I'm wrong. I just have a feeling that it's Dave Van Horn's year perhaps to win a national championship and to finally get Arkansas over the hump. I know he probably rolls over at 3 a.m. thinking about the guy that missed the ball in foul territory years back to win a national title. I'll just kind of lean into LSU loses a heartbreaker, rebounds, and goes 2-2 in Omaha. That's just my gut feeling, but would love to be wrong. I'm going to say that perhaps Arkansas's left-handed pitcher there keeps LSU in check. The Tigers scratch for a few runs, but maybe can't quite get it done.
Okay, so based on that answer, Jacques, it sounds like you think Arkansas will win the national championship, right? Or is there another team that you got your eye on?
Well, I'm just going to go with the chalk. I'm just going to be boring, go with Vegas. They've got Arkansas as the favorite. Jay Johnson himself says they're the best, most talented team in the field. I don't think there's a juggernaut in this field like there was a couple of years ago when LSU had to beat Wake Forest or even Florida in the national championship.
All right, now talking with Koki Riley, who covers the LSU baseball team for The Advocate and NOLA.com. First question for you, Koki. Saturday night, LSU, Arkansas. Who wins?
I'm going to go with Arkansas. I think this is going to be a really tough and tight matchup, but I just feel like LSU's had trouble against left-handers, and Zach Root, as one of the best left-handers in the country, is probably going to give them some issues. And then on the flip side, I just think Arkansas has the advantage offensively, and if any team is going to break through with the park that they're facing, it's that. But I think my main concern for LSU is can they get the 5 runs, and I have trouble seeing them do that in this sort of park, in this pitcher's park, and in this sort of pitching matchup. So I'm going to go with Arkansas.
So you got Arkansas winning that game. Do you see Arkansas winning the national championship, or could LSU bounce back, or is there another team that you think, hey, keep an eye on these guys?
I'm going to go with Arkansas winning the whole thing. I just think they're the most talented team in the country, as Jay Johnson has said on multiple occasions this year. And yeah, because of that, I'm gonna roll with Arkansas. This is too good of a program with too many talented players not to win the national championship at some point. And this is about as good of an opportunity as they've ever had. So I'm gonna roll with them.
All right, very interesting. 4 out of our 5 media experts going with Arkansas to win on Saturday and to win the whole thing. The only holdout there, Glen West, he thinks LSU is not only going to win on Saturday, but they're going to win their 8th national championship in school history.
So we only got one guy picking LSU?
One guy.
Oh, that's pretty
Everybody
objective.
looks at Arkansas as this juggernaut that cannot be beat, or as many of them said, they believe it's Arkansas's time. Dave Van Horne has not won a national championship yet, and this is arguably the best team he's had that he's brought to Omaha, so it's time for him to win one.
Well, I'm impressed with that objectivity, and I got some more objectivity for you. I think LSU will beat Arkansas in the opener and win the first bracket and make the championship series, but I think Coastal Carolina's pitching will upset the Tigers.
I already said earlier that I think Cade Anderson is going to be on a warpath and angry going into this game. I think his intensity is going to be up. I think the intensity of the entire LSU team is going to be up. I don't think they give a crap about Dave Van Horn's 2018 plague, so to speak. I think LSU wins the first game. It's going to be close, but I think LSU wins it. I think Arizona emerges from the pack in the other bracket, and LSU will be playing Arizona, Jay Johnson's former team, and they will smack them around and win the 8th great national championship for the LSU Tigers.
After dominating Jello shots.
Yeah, there you go. Well, speaking of 8, I'm going to go with the 8th seed in the NCAA baseball tournament, and that's the Oregon State Beavers. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. I think this is the team to watch for outside of Arkansas when it comes to LSU's perspective. I just think this is a very quality program. They've won 3 national championships here recently since 2006. They've won 10 of their last 12. Even though they have not been to the College World Series here for a while, this is a team that there's just some, and this has been such a wide open tournament. To me, it would not be a surprise for one of the 2 big favorites not to win it, LSU and Arkansas. I think everybody's obviously keen on that. Everybody's looking at it, but this is baseball and things happen. The what you can't predict usually occurs. So I'm going to try to predict and say that Oregon State will win the 2025 Men's College World Series.
And they'll be carrying the flag for the 2-member Pac-12.
Which is now 8 officially.
3 former Pac-12 schools in the tournament, which is pretty impressive, in UCLA, Oregon State, and Arizona. So, guys, it should be a lot of fun regardless. Looking forward to a great game on Saturday night. Looking forward to Glenn Guilbeau's coverage from Omaha of the College World Series. And don't forget, we'll be back with you on Tiger Rag Radio on Tuesday night. And we'll also have another podcast coming out before the start of Game 1. Had a chance to talk with Ethan Fry's high school baseball coach in Rose Pine, Jeff Smith. And then I also had a chance to talk with Bill Pearson, the proud papa of Josh and John Pearson, as he was driving up to Omaha in his camper, getting ready to hang out in Omaha for a week and a half. So thanks again for listening to the Tiger Rag Radio Extra Podcast, our 2025 College World Series preview.
June is jumping at your East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Take part in the Summer Reading Challenge with incentives for kids, teens, and adults. They also have events galore for all ages, like Movies on the Plaza, the Cool Careers Summer Series, and so much more. Check out details online at ebrpl.com. That's ebrpl.com.